Hi, this is Patrick Mayock with HotelNewsNow.com, and I'm here with Kurt Ritter, President and CEO of the Rezidor Hotel Group. Mr. Ritter, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. One of the things that we're hearing a lot about at the IHIF conference is managing through this downturn. And I was just wondering to start, how is Rezidor managing through the downturn?
We got prepared quite early with a very ambitious cost-cutting program. We said first 20 million, then we raised it in mid of January to 30 million, and I hope that will be enough. And cost cutting means mainly that we talk to suppliers on one side, and of course we had to let go some staff.
Kind of looking at 2008, another positive for Rezidor was it was a record year for you guys in terms of new hotels you've added to your portfolio. In 2009, though, I was wondering, do you think all those extra properties may create a strain on your existing infrastructure with the pressures of the economic climate right now?
As you know, we are purely a management company, and taking occasionally commitments in a form of a lease contract. So I don't want to say the crisis doesn't in that respect touch us. Of course it does, but only indirectly. And I mean, to open 40, 50 hotels like we have now done per year is of course a strain on the organization, and that will also be for the future, but less so because there is much more good staff available now during a crisis than during good times. The problem may be we just have now not about exactly 90 hotels under construction, that about 10% of that which we have analyzed will probably not realize, meaning owners running out of money during the construction and not being able to finish the hotels. And that may, as the crisis goes on, become worse.
Okay. Out of those hotels, what regions are you targeting?
Well, when we look at where we are today, we have about 40% in the rest of Western Europe as a region. That will go down to 21%, and really the two areas where we grow the most, where we didn't grow so much before, was Eastern Europe and Middle East and Africa. So it's really the emerging markets, you can say, that we target. And if you take Russia or CIS as a whole first, I think we are there with a big distance ahead of the pack. Also, I would say naturally so, because we were the first who were in Russia with a global brand.
And looking ahead to the upturn, that's got to help you being in those emerging markets before anyone else, correct?
Definitely. No, I mean, we have targeted, for example, in Russia itself, not only in the other CIS, only Russia. We have targeted 50 cities, which are all above 400,000 inhabitants, of course. And if you translate that into Europe, these size of cities, you will in each city have one of the global brands, or 2, 3, or 4. So there is a huge demand, and we see that in the cities we are today.
Let's turn the conversation towards brands, since you sort of brought it up. To begin, a few weeks ago now, I think you announced that Radisson SAS is undergoing a change to Radisson Blu. I was just wondering if you can update the viewers and let us know how that process is going.
I mean, the reason is obvious. SAS is not an owner anymore, as it was for 40 years or 50 years of the existence of the company. With the IPO in 2006, SAS went practically out, and we said over time we will phase the name out. We have quite some time left, because I think we said 2 or 3 years, and decided now it's the time that we make the change, and we call it Radisson Blu. Why Blue, before you ask? We needed a short and crisp name because we didn't want to take away this blue box from 200 over buildings, which is discoloring the facade of the buildings, and then you have to do the exterior, which is a very costly affair. So we said, let's just change the acrylic sheet and get a short, crisp name.
You're obviously someone who's been around the industry for a while, and you've gained quite a bit of experience. I was wondering, for our viewers out there and for anyone else at the conference, what advice do you have for them as far as managing and getting your company through a downturn of this magnitude?
You have to keep fit. You have to keep fit, also in good times. And I mean, it is, everybody knows that in good times you sin a lot. Many companies sin, they get too fat, they are not trimmed. And after the 9/11, we really kept our company in trim, and we have a very small head office. And I'm very happy to be where we are, because when 20 years ago we moved the company from Oslo to Brussels, the headquarters, I had to let go about 70 people, and that was not a nice experience because it wasn't the fault of the people, and I don't want to do that again.
Okay, and one last thing to end on a positive note. In 2009, what opportunities are there for Rezidor?
Well, it's actually, it doesn't sound so positive the way I put it, but I say we joined the vulture crowd. I mean, we see where there are animals that are not dead, but they are shot at, and to go and get those. I think that's where I see the opportunities in 2009 and 2010.
All right. Well, Kurt, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And good luck going forward.
Thank you. Thank you.